Over two-thirds of the Earth is covered by water, and with the world's ever-increasing population, we are putting more and more pressure on the planet's water resources. It is now the most threatened essential resource on Earth. As industrialization has spread around the world, so has the problem of pollution. Long ago, when the Earth's population was much smaller, no one ever believed that water pollution would ever present any sort of serious problem. It was widely believed that the world's oceans, rivers, and lakes were far too large to ever become greatly polluted. However, now it is clear that we were very wrong.
Water pollution can be defined in many ways. Usually it means one or more substances have built up in water to such an extent that they cause problems for animals or people. These problems can include disease, food contaminators or shortages, or ultimately death for any living creature that consumes polluted water. Any source of clean water can be contaminated through a number of ways, such as sewage, fertilizers and chemicals, wastewater, oil, plastics or trash, and even alien species.
Water pollution is divided up usually into two main sources. It is either called point source or non-point source. Point source pollution is when the epicenter of the pollutant is coming out of one spot, like a pipe that carries waste breaks or something along that sort. The non-point sources do not have one specific point where the pollution is spewing out of, but rather it is spreading from a combination of different outages. When a specific site of pollution is affecting areas that are miles away, that is called transboundary pollution.
There is only really two ways to check whether the water is polluted or not. The first is a chemical indicator. This is when someone takes a small sample of the possibly polluted water and closely examines the measurements of all the different chemicals it contains. The other way one can study the pollution is by checking out the marine life in the body of water. If the normal aquatic life is living healthily, then the water is safe.
A major problem and cause of pollution concerning the amount of people on Earth is sewage. According to a 2013 study from the World Health Organization, around 780 million people don't have access to clean drinking water. On top of this, 2.5 billion people don't have access to proper sanitation and toilet facilities. Sewage disposal affects people's immediate environments and leads to water-related illnesses, such as diarrhea, killing almost 760,000 children under 5 years old each year. However, in developed countries, we have toilets that flush out sewage, usually to treatment plants. But even after it is treated, the waste still has to go somewhere, and it sometimes is pumped untreated straight into the sea. Until the 1990s, around 5 million tons of sewage waste was dumped by barge just from New York City each year.
Going off the previous passage, about 50% of the world's ocean pollution is from sewage and wastewater. This transitions to the second most important issue of water pollution, wastewater. Each year, the entire Earth creates about 5 to 10 billion tons of waste that ends up being directly pumped into unregulated ponds, rivers, lakes, and oceans. Many people think that the majority of the dumping can be blamed on different factories and warehouses, but believe it or not, every household pollutes a little bit themselves. A new research has found that even the detergent that we use to wash our clothes is being found in these different bodies of water. Another way that we humans pollute our waterways is when, while we are driving, the spilled fuels, brake fluids, and bits of worn tires get washed away when it rains into the drains. These drains lead into the same unregulated bodies of water.
Plastics are a lesser form of water pollution that has a more lasting effect. One reason for this is that plastic is one of the most common materials used in virtually every type of manufactured product. Another reason is that most plastics are not biodegradable, so they remain in the environment for a long time. It is estimated that a water bottle takes 450 years to completely decompose in the ocean, and fishing line takes over 600. But in reality, no one really knows how long it will take for most of the world's plastic to biodegrade. Even if most of this trash did decompose, it would just produce an ocean filled with smaller fragments of plastic. Even currently, most of the plastic found in the ocean are tiny pieces less than 1 centimeter in size, with the mass of 1/10 of a paperclip. And while plastics are not harmful like poisonous pollution is, they still pose a serious threat to seabirds and marine life. The term ghost fishing has been tagged to the strangling and choking of fish due to the plastic fishing lines and other debris in the water. In one study of 450 shearwaters near the North Pacific, over 80% of the birds were found to contain plastic residues in their stomach.